Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to this channel, EarthMotherStarChild. I'm Astara and I'm an angelic communicator, meaning that I talk to higher level beings and angels, and I also do a lot of work with accessing the Akashic Record and exploring past lives. And I'm really grateful that you've brought your energy to my channel here today. And I really want to speak to you if you've ever had an experience of past lives, and particularly I want to talk about Atlantis. So, if you've ever felt quite a deep and mysterious kind of drawing, calling towards ancient civilizations like Atlantis or Egypt or Lemuria, chances are you've probably had lifetimes there. And a lot of the clients I'm working with, I see these lifetimes coming up as being very relevant for this time, this incarnation. Often we're healing these lifetimes that we've had in other places through our connection on the Akashic record of all the record of our lives that we've had in our journey of the soul. And if you've ever experienced sudden memories or maybe during meditation, some sort of insights or had vivid dreams or some unexplainable knowing, then this is the video for you. So today I want to talk about Atlantis, and it's often described as a mythical place or a mystical place full of waters and having this experience that somehow it was otherworldly. And some people say it's a myth, but I know it to be definitely a truth. So, in your past lives, you have had probably quite a few experiences in Atlantis, because Atlantis was an epoch that lasted about 5,000 years before it went beneath the waves. So, it is very common to have lifetimes in that time period. And when I've been looking at the Akashic and working with people around their exploration of their past lives, often I'm seeing these connections in the solar plexus chakra. So I want to talk about those timelines and that you may have had in Atlantis and how we can really get more information by accessing the Akashic record and also working with your solar plexus chakra. So, what I want to say here is your solar plexus chakra. It's not easy to say if you say it in a hurry. Is actually your power center. It links to the sun, and when I was working a lot with my solar plexus chakra, I was shown that there were a lot of lifetimes in Atlantis coming up for me, and that I would need to heal a lot of these to be able to recover my gifts in this lifetime. So. Let's talk a little bit about Atlantis so we can have some anchoring in. So, Atlantis is more than a myth. It was a spiritually advanced civilization. And when I have memories of Atlantis, some of it is similar to now, but some of it isn't. So, there was a lot of crystalline energy tech, sacred technology, working with plants, working with seeds, and temples and deep spiritual wisdom. I often see Atlantis, I have memories of them as having lots of temples where they would use energy, spiritual technology, work in groups, aligning with certain planets and energies, and that would help fuel their civilization. So there was a really light, expanded consciousness on Atlantis, particularly in the early times. They knew how to work with power and energy. They knew about the energy grids of the earth, and they knew what they were doing. So it lasted a very long time, like I said, about 5,000 years. And there was a very light time in Atlantis, and also there was a shadow time in Atlantis. And often this happens when the light expands, we then have a shadow aspect that comes out of it. And so eventually Atlantis fell into what I would call shadow. And there were many experiences by many people who are alive now that they feel had soul imprints that were left of trauma, guilt, and spiritual disconnection. And many people are dealing with the fragments and fractals of Atlantis at this time in this incarnation. So if you feel like you've had, an experience of Atlantis, then you might feel this present in your life as a kind of fear of your own power, a fear of being seen, of an unexplained anxiety in your solar plexus, right at the core of your being. And this is where your healing begins because often we're not in contact with why we feel that way, but our inner child often knows what that is because they're very linked to our higher self and our inner knowing about what we've been born and connected into. So, the way I work with my clients, and this is one tool in many, many, many tools, but the way I've been working with them is with the Akashic Records because I've been shown that a lot of us don't have to relive those experiences anymore. If you go into regression, into past lives, and I've done a lot of regression work, if you go into that, sometimes you have to relive that trauma through the memory of it. Whereas I'm working with the Angelic Council and we're looking at the Akashic Records, we are sort of doing it in a much more gentle way. The integration, the release seems to be a way that we can do now. It's getting much lighter, the vibrations are getting faster, so we can work in this way. So the Akashic Records are a divine archive of your soul's entire journey across all your lifetimes. And when you access this space, you can receive incredible clarity or healing and sometimes forgiveness about what happened in Atlantis. So maybe you are a healer and you feel like you don't really have the trust in your gifts that you would like, or you feel like you are a healer and you'd like more clients to do healing, but sometimes there can be a subconscious block of why you're not receiving the clients you need. And you might be doing everything in the physical world to get those clients, but for some reason they're not coming, even though you're a great healer. And often that's a good example where there's a trauma or a belief or some sort of subconscious fear that's keeping you hidden. And so doing some Akashic record work can really help to resolve that and realign it for you. So there can also be in Atlantis a misuse of power where either you've misused power or you've witnessed other people misuse power, and that can make you very afraid of your own power in this life. Or you are silenced for speaking the truth, of which I have many karmic timelines going to Atlantis about speaking the truth. And you'll find that it can take a lot of work to work through any blocking patterns about speaking truth. So if that relates to you, then this is an area that would be really good for you to work at. And you'll find that that is not just in your throat chakra, it's in your solar plexus as well to be healed. So whatever your soul has experienced, you are not here to repeat the past. You really are not. This is not a repeating cycle you need to go through. You probably repeated it anyway. You're here to actually heal. And this time on Earth is about healing these so that you can healing these setbacks, healing these traumas so that you can release your power into birthing the new Earth. That's what this is about, and that's what I'm interested in. So I just want to talk about the solar plexus just a little bit because it is the energy center of your personal power. It often relates to the color yellow. It's between your heart chakra and your sacral chakra. So this kind of middle area where your kind of stomach and your digestive organs are. It's often where your inner child is. When I talk to someone's inner child, I often find myself going into this chakra. And it also relates to your sense of purpose and your identity. And so there are many who's lived through the fall of Atlantis, so actually seen Atlantis dissolve and go under the waves. And there are many people holding that trauma now. And this chakra, if you look into it and work with it, it often holds any deep wounding, trauma from betrayal, shame, or suppressed truth. These are really good ways of looking at this chakra. And so to heal it, we then we then realize this is a journey to reconnecting back to personal sovereignty. So it's like taking your own power back. And we can also learn to transmute any fear or trauma in that area into a kind of radiant confidence, which is actually who you are and what you want to have in your life. And we must also forgive. Like forgiveness is a massive thing. To see our whole civilization die out, go under the waves, that takes a huge amount of forgiveness. Forgiveness of ourselves if we played a part in that or if we witnessed it, and forgiveness of others. And also in this timeline on Earth, we're kind of seeing that we don't want to see that happen again. We do not want to see another another epoch going under the waves. What we want is to see something beautiful returning to Earth, which is more in alignment with who we are now as well. So I'm going to leave this video here. I'm just going to say that everything we do here in this life is about, healing ourselves, bringing in more compassion, bringing the positive more online, helping us connect with this higher, expansive part of ourselves. So if you are experiencing any connection to Atlantis where you feel any of that trauma or feeling less than who you are, like a disempowerment, I want to say this, that you are not broken. You are actually remembering, and your soul is wise and ancient and infinitely powerful. If this really resonates with you, then come and join my groups, come and join my workshops. And I just want you to know that as an old soul, you came back to Earth for a reason in this life. And if you're finding this video, it's often because you're ready to get online, you're ready to get on with your healing work, you're ready to bring your gifts into the world. And this is time to do it. Okay, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like this transmission. And until next time, beautiful soul, stay grounded, stay golden, and just remember who you truly are.